internet is beneficial, like Ali was saying, but there's always going to be a negative to something. There's going to be a positive. So the negatives is this concept of where people want instant results, but the positives are people are more efficient nowadays than they used to be. People are more connected, more.
Right.
There's a bigger network. Yeah, it's
Look at that. Episode 181.
Yo.
Way to the show. Back at it again with the wise guys. Another episode. And what's today's topic? Amir is eating right
You're
now.
giving
but
the topic, Ali.
I'll give the topic. We're talking about all of us here. We're all 90s kids, but we're also the new age, right? We're like not like we're in the in between. We're not really Gen Z.
No, we actually are. Okay, actually, I read an article about this where
Yes.
it said that 97 is the beginning of Gen Z.
So you're
So
Gen Z.
we're like basically we're the old people of Gen Z.
We're the
That's
oldest,
thing.
the eldest of Gen Z. What's the
Yeah.
transition
So-
phase? I feel like it's in between, dude.
What's the transition phase? I mean, you could maybe, yeah, we could be the transition phase, but the transition phase also is included in one of the generations. So it's not like they leave a gap year and like say it's like, okay, these people are not part of any generation, and we're just gonna, not name them anything.
I
They're
feel
just
like I'm not
transition
a
phase.
part of any generation, dude. I'm not Gen Z, dude. I'm not Gen Z as much as you want.
I'm not
Bro,
either.
Man,
I was
actually read that
watching-
Gen
I was
Z
watching
started
this
in
guy-
1995
1995.
in America by American, like I don't know.
Look- I guess it depends on people's and which person.
What do you
wanna
think
read
makes
about,
Gen
like,
Z
who-
Gen Z?
whose perspective.
What do you think makes Gen Z?
Crazy.
Bro, this
This
is
is
something
the-
that this is actually something that I also want to
Just the word
the concept of
normalize.
generation.
If you just say normalize, if it's part of your vocabulary, bro, tell us. You're Gen Z.
And Fortnite.
Normalize this, normalize that.
That's about it, but that's the rule.
If you're on
No, but I was watching this guy. His name is Adam Conover. So he does these things where he breaks down.
Adam ruins
myths,
everything.
not myths, like
Comedy
exactly.
Central.
Adam ruins everything.
Yeah.
So he talked about. So he was on this conference where he was talking about millennials and the concept of generations. So like the concept of generations was just created in a sense so that to basically separate age groups, and especially since they have different thought process and different interests in a sense.
Isn't it for demographic
And you know how-
purposes, man? Like essentially, like
Yeah, demographic purposes, but it actually means it means nothing. Like the concept of having generations, because like we're
well,
just
I th-
people in the end.
I think now it does.
But the reason.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because when they want to separate generations, so there's always the concept of how they all say like Gen Z is lazy, they're always on their phones, they're not effective, they're narcissistic and all that kind of bullshit. Yeah, well the thing is they used to say the same thing about previous generations.
That's not what I
They
think of
said-
Gen Z.
they said-
I think Gen
exactly.
Z. I think Gen Z is the
Yeah, I agree with
generation
you.
that grew
That's
up
not-
with the internet pretty much versus Gen Y.
Very
that grew
true,
up
very
with the
true.
internet.
They just worked. They just
And
grew
we
up on the
kinda grew
internet.
up kind of on the internet a little bit. We were kind
Yeah,
of
but the thing
happened.
and the thing is this concept of the younger generation being lazy and narcissistic is something that always existed. So for example, the parents of the baby boomers, they would complain about the millennials being lazy. And you would find articles like back in the 50s and 60s complaining about the younger generations, about them being lazy and narcissistic. But that's the thing, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you're obviously going to be narcissistic and selfish because you're going to be wanting to build a career for yourself. You want to build a future for yourself. But not necessarily. But there's always going to be that that adult that's going to say is like, back in my days we used to go climb the mountains and
I
stuff to reach
disagree with-
school and stuff, that kind of bullshit.
I disagree.
Actually,
with you,
sorry,
Sai.
to comment on that,
Yeah.
I read once a research study that said that human adults, they have a tendency throughout history to always look down upon the newer generations, like
Sure.
to look at them with contempt and like disapproval.
Exactly.
There's always something wrong with them being different than us. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think Gen Z is less lazy. I think Gen Z does a lot more. Like, do you see all these kids who are like hackers or kids who are on Minecraft spending hours building forts and like doing the
Yeah, Ali, I agree with
amazing
this
things?
point.
It's
No, I
feel-
agree with
compared
the
to like the millennials, like Gen Z are like really like,
Exactly.
insane. Yeah,
And
like, at
Adam,
really
and Adam
young
made
ages.
this point.
Yeah.
Adam made this point that how, for example, our generation currently, they are more willing to do extra work for free compared to our parents' generation. Like
Right.
Who from our parents volunteered as much as us?
This
did
podcast.
internships.
Yeah.
Or did internships or work for free or like
Yeah.
basically anything for free. You know, we're doing a lot of work for free,
That's
which
true.
is.
Cross.
I mean, I cannot. Not only Red Cross.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, this podcast. It's a
But I don't
startup.
think that has to do
You
with
know,
Gen Z, bro.
Exactly. It's not Gen Z. It's just the concept of the old people complaining about young people. That's what generations is for me.
Mhm.
Like this is how I understood it, and I kind of agree with this point.
No,
Alright.
I meant like working for free isn't because Gen Z does it. It's just because they have to do it. Because there's just so much competition nowadays. You need to work for free for a long time.
Okay, so
2
this
years of
dispels the
internships.
argument that we're lazy.
Not lazy. We just have to do it to get competitive.
I mean, I'm pretty lazy. All I did to don't join this podcast was turn
I
on
mean,
my laptop.
building Fortnite for like 3 hours, 4 hours, and building a huge ass fortress. I don't
I
think
ain't
that's.
lazy. Facts.
What do you
Bro,
think? You
I'm
not
not-
think that's creative?
I'm
Like
not saying.
Minecraft?
No, I think you guys are
No,
misunderstanding.
I think it's
it.
creative. No, for sure. I used to
I think
build
you guys are misunderstanding the
radical
point I'm
houses.
trying to make. I'm not saying Gen Z is lazy. I'm saying the opposite.
You're saying they're not. Yeah. I
Yeah,
understood
yeah.
that.
Gotcha. So you think technology is making them smarter? You think the internet is helping out the
Yeah,
world, or do
man,
you think?
I think it fucking makes people stupid as shit, bro. Also think it affects the attention span.
All right.
I honestly think it makes people, they can't focus. I think people are addicted to technology. I don't think they understand it well enough to use it properly. Yeah, I'm very like pessimistic about the impact technology has on young people.
Me too, bro.
Because I feel like what it is just you're giving someone like
Really complex
this,
tool and
this
they just don't
small
know it.
ass, like, you know, how big is this shit? You know, they have this thing, they hold it in their hand, they're fucking trigger happy, right? Like you press some shit and you get instantly like you get jacked up on the
Gratification.
words because of it. You know, whatever it may be, like you open Instagram, you see memes, you're like, haha, fun, you know, funny one. You know, you move on, there's like other websites, you know, things
Right.
we were talking about, you know,
Mhm.
before we started like recording, you know. And there's a lot of ways that you can be just way too trigger happy with your telephone, for example. And that's just one piece of the technology, right? You know, computers are insane with that as well. It's just so easy to get addicted, man. I don't think it's easy to understand, and it's very complex and it's very new too. It's just so much data. I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? Do
I
you
think
feel like
last week you pointed to this, man, or the subject we talked about. Like you said that people get like so much overwhelming information. They don't know what to do, what to decide on what's right for them, because there's so many inputs of information,
yeah.
advice in life, and like
Yeah, that's one thing as well. Like forget the fact that it's also like overwhelming your brain. Like even the information that you actually do get, it's also so contradictory and so confusing that's impossible to navigate through. And for me, what I do every once in a while is that I take like a dopamine detox, you know, but it doesn't really like, you know, I mean, I'm sure Ali understands.
I've
this
heard about
because-
this. You told me about this before personally. You said
What do you mean
monk mode, right?
detox?
Yeah, it's
Calls
not
it monk
really.
mode, man, no?
Pull out the whiteboard.
Yeah, I call it monk mode, but I think the term people relate to is dopamine detox. But you know, it doesn't really detox your brain. Okay, just to give you guys like some neurological explanation, I think Abbas and Ali would probably already know this. But in theory, what happens is if you become addicted to like a dopamine trigger, and dopamine is like the motivation hormone for you. It's the thing that gets you to chase something because you know there's going to be a reward at it. So while you're chasing, dopamine is firing, and when you get the reward, dopamine fires again, right?
Triggered.
And what happens if you become like
I mean, I'm triggered. I can pull up the slides from last week if you
Go for it, Abbas.
So what happens if you get addicted to it? Is if you get addicted to dopamine, what happens is your brain decides it doesn't need as many receptors for other things, right? It's like, I don't need a dopamine trigger for working out. I already have like 5,000 for, you know, memes, checking my phone, right? And for memes, like I don't need to work out. So it starts eliminating all those receptors. And so what a dopamine detox is actually kind of reignites your brain and it rebalances the number of receptors again. So then things start to feel like normal again, you know? You start to enjoy food again because, well, food is enjoyable. and it's not just your fucking phone and what you can do on your phone, and that's the problem, you know. Obviously, it's not. I don't know how severe it is. They haven't done enough studies, I would say.
We don't have.
I tried looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long-term.
I looked into it a little bit, and there are some studies that show that it's really bad. That the way your brain acts when you're on your phone is the same way it would act when you're on cocaine or when heroin.
But I think that's
Pretty
an issue of the technology of the phone, right? It's not really an issue of the internet. The internet is, I think, does the opposite. I think it's actually great for the world because now things are more fair and people around the world have access to information they wouldn't have had before, have access to education and are able to learn through YouTube, through podcasts, dude. We're interviewing and like just this podcast, dude. It's so amazing how we're able to connect with all these like amazing, really smart people around the world.
Los Angeles, New York, Vancouver.
Right, exactly. And yeah, and share out information and talk about things and people listen and they learn. And I think it's really powerful. I think it's way more powerful than...
Despite its benefits though, man, despite how it revolutionized our existence as a species, I think he means that as a distraction, it's very powerful and it like throws us off what we're supposed to be doing.
I'm optimistic about
it
its
because
potential.
of the apps that they use, the apps that are created to. Okay, so basically we're referring
TikTok.
to the TikTok generation and
TikTok. 30 seconds.
I mean,
Are we considered the Flappy Bird generation?
yes, so exactly the TikTok apps, the Tinder apps, you know, it's like basically just like swipe till you get something you like. These kind of apps that are created by corporations, the corporations that are feeding off of this concept where they can benefit off of these people who are having
Social
this
engineering.
dope. Exactly, it's just a creation that comes out of the general invention of the internet. You know, the internet is beneficial, like Kali was saying, but there's always going to be a negative to something. There's going to be a positive. So the negatives is this concept of where people want instant results, but the positives are people are more efficient nowadays than they used to be. People are more connected. There's a bigger network. Yeah, it's easier to connect with people who are not in the same country, and it's easier to communicate with people who are not in the same country.
Yeah.
So this
When
this is a positive in my sense.
When I'm driving, I can listen to like an audiobook or a podcast or music, whatever I want to. Actually, I don't have to listen to the radio or anything. I can actually be more efficient with my time.
You also have GPS.
That's true.
If you're driving
Yeah,
by
my
road,
point is the phone.
you
Just
hear
to
the taxis
clarify,
yelling.
The phone. Yeah, dude.
my point is
The phone. I also am addicted. I hate the phone, dude. Sometimes I'm on it and I'm like, okay, Gmail, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I go through that loop, like that app loop, and then I'm like, okay, again, do it 2 or 3 more times.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
That's 15 minutes that went by,
Why does that?
and then I throw my phone away.
Yeah,
Why
just
does that
I
feel
want
so
to comment
good
on
for us?
that just to carry on my previous point. So my point is the phone, right? It's not that technology isn't beneficial. It's not that it won't benefit you. It's just that I think we went too much in one direction, right? We went too much into the direction of how to be more efficient, how to use all this information, how to get this and connect this to that thing, right? Which is fair enough, but we haven't touched upon the base on like, okay, how do we balance this out? Like, how do you come back? Why are you stuck in a loop using your phone, going through the same application multiple times? Like, why is this happening? Why is this an experience? Like, not enough people understand like how bad that is for them. Not enough people want to talk about it. People are just like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it because the benefits are so great, right? That's my problem with it. And the people are always like, yeah, but I don't want to stop using my phone because using my phone is so good. It's like, no, you should stop using it because then you can like recalibrate a little bit and you can use your phone instead of having your phone use you, as cheesy as that may sound,
I think the issue is not because no one wants to talk about it, but there's just not enough research on the matter. I mean, Instagram isn't that old of an app, it's like what, five years or something like that.
It's insane. And everyone's on it.
Yeah, and like, okay,
Follow us
everyone's on
to this show if you're on it, buddy. Follow us to this show.
everyone's on it, but the thing is, there isn't really like, I haven't really heard of someone who's doing a PhD on like why do people use Instagram so much, or is doing his research on why do people use Instagram so much. And
back on why education sucks, right? Like, that's because no one wants to like fight corporations. Like, why would I make a study on like that? It's not going to get supported by anyone. This is why technology is not good for you. Oh, who's going to fund that, bro?
That's true.
I mean, no, I wouldn't agree with that because there's always these kind of research that do occur. So, for example, when the what's it called, cigarette companies, when they first came out, and like they would fund all of these doctors to support them and say like, yeah, smoking is cool, smoking is healthy, but there was still research going on that was not projected by the media. That it was,
but it took a long time.
It was negative.
It took time, dude, but it does come out, and I feel like
No, the thing is, it was out.
Yeah.
It's the social but the media didn't present it because it was not being paid. But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So you just have to find it yourself. That's the thing. This is why people have to do their own research in a sense to find out if something is bad or not.
On that topic, they said that if tobacco was discovered today, it would never ever reach the heights it did, like already has, like in corporations and like
What do you mean?
global.
Why?
I don't know, bro. I don't know about that
Yeah,
one.
I
'Cause
think
people are like, are fucking addicted to weed, aren't they?
Yeah, but at least
and
it's
they
a-
like
Yeah.
sell it as
At
like
least
this
it's a-
greatest medicine of the world. Greatest medicine of the 21st century is smoking hashish. That we live in that generation, bro.
But still, it will be inhibited just at least a bit because of
true.
the fact that we know it's bad for us. At the time, they thought it was good for
Bro.
them. So imagine how much
No,
more.
bro.
Oh, hella, bro.
Let me
like,
give you an
there's
example,
enough studies
vaping.
that talk about
Vaping, dude.
cannabis.
Bro,
Literally
vaping
vaping.
came out. Yeah, vaping came
Yeah,
out
exactly.
There you go.
5 years ago. Bro, it's the deadliest thing you can do right now. It's like more deadly.
Less
than tobacco.
controversial one.
Yeah,
And
but the
you're-
research is out, Abbas, that it has higher what's it called? It has more adverse effects than a regular cigarette.
What
Like
I'm
it's-
saying is that
what-
people still got shit ton addicted on it. Like everybody
Yeah.
came on the vape train. Like every post I would see, everybody's vaping, and even now,
It's still very
There's
like
when I
available.
pass-
I'm pretty sure
when I
like
pass-
there's a ton of people still doing it.
Yeah,
Like
but
a
when
flavor
I
to
pass
it, and
down
it'll be-
Manhattan,
it'll be
bro, like there's
interesting.
like 6 vaping shops like next to each other, man.
Yeah. I don't think people care as much on like what is good for them and what isn't, bro. I don't think they care. I think they're just like, there's a funny saying by Sadhguru. He's like, you live in this body, you use your mind, use your body, but you haven't read the instruction manual. Right? You're just
Yeah.
walking around aimlessly. You don't know what the hell you're doing.
He also
And,
says
like-
something else, man. He says evolution gave you the most complex tool, which is your mind, a sharp tool, but you haven't learned how to wield it, and you keep stabbing yourself accidentally.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
You're
but
right.
so, a
That's so
question for you guys. So you guys mentioned like an instruction manual. Where do we get that? I mean, it's
Well,
not like it's readily available to us. That's the thing. That's why we stab
Yeah.
ourselves
We should write it,
with these
Saeed.
things, because we're exploring.
12 rules for
Because good
life,
point.
dude. Beyond order, dude.
Yeah, we
Well,
explore.
no,
man.
there's
We
a
make
ton of
mistakes.
like help out there, bro, and I don't think I don't think there's a way to like save humanity. It's just that when you have a conversation like this, okay, the point isn't just to always be like, yo, guys, we figured it, we cracked it. The five wise guys have come to you with the most modern solution to technology. Do this. Like, man, hey,
We've
I
done
think
the
everyone
research.
knows this on a level, right? But it's just a matter of being willing to talk about those things, right? Because if I talk to you about some shit and I say some dumbest things ever, you're gonna be like, yo, listen, Amir, this is some dumb shit. Yeah, what are you on about? This makes no sense. Right? But people don't talk about that, No, like if I'm sat here, using my phone for like 30 minutes while we talk, and then I pay zero attention to you guys, and then Abbas is like, yo, Amir, that's not cool. And I just tell him, yo, bro, that was just me. This is who I am, you have to accept me.
Stop judging.
His
Normalize
argument is
phone.
over, like, khalas, Normalize my addiction, bro. What's wrong with you? Like, I've had conversations with people who are like blown out of their mind, like smoking weed every single day. Khalas, that's what they do with their life. And I know what they're doing is like dumb as fuck, right? And they know on a level. Have you tried having a conversation with someone who isn't willing? And there's so many people also willing to tell them, oh yeah, you don't have to talk about it. You don't have to discuss anything. You don't have to be judged. You don't have to judge. Please be completely neutral about everything in life. That's the way to be.
I mean, or neutral or accepting,
Yeah,
right?
I
This
know.
part of this
Kind of
generation is
fake,
also
I'm
like
actually-
accept everyone, dude. Accept everyone. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
Every lifestyle is okay. Every lifestyle, maybe not every lifestyle is okay, and maybe you are hurting yourself by doing things that are harmful to you. And maybe
Like, man, pick at least 2 people you can
Yeah.
trust to talk about, right? Like, I trust you guys
True.
to tell me, when I'm doing something stupid. I don't have to
Right.
trust every single guy's judgment, but I can trust like a few people's judgment.
that's true.
That's a lot more accurate.
But the people you care for want to accept you for who you are. That's part of the thing. And
Honestly, man, those people themselves don't accept themselves, and they're depressed as hell. Those people that smoke every day,
Right.
all the time, weed, party. They're not happy themselves.
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
a type of escape, if anything.
I don't want to judge this. Some people like to party, dude, and dance and sing and have fun. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
dude.
but there's a
every personality. is
but
different.
Ali, there's a
Some
difference.
people are
between
extroverted and they just want to be around other people, and some people just want to recluse and
Yeah, but they
By
should be
themselves.
willing to talk about it, right? Like, they should be willing to talk about it. It shouldn't just be like, oh, accept me for who I am. This is who
Mhm.
I am, right? Like, no,
Right.
just talk about it. Fair enough, man. Maybe who you are is fucking amazing. Maybe I'm retarded, right? Just talk to me normally, so I can actually understand where you're coming from. Talk to me about how you feel. Talk to me about what goes through your day.
I don't
Okay,
know-
sure. When you're partying, like, in that moment, you're enjoying yourself. But is it like, how do you feel the other, 10 hours of the day? How do you feel then? You feel like shit? Well, maybe there's a correlation there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point over there. So
That's just talking.
for Ali, you were saying that like maybe people just enjoy doing these kind of things. They like to party and they like to have fun and stuff. Okay, but what are they doing in those events? Like there's a difference between
dancer dancing.
someone. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a difference between someone who just goes to party because they enjoy dancing, and then someone who goes to party because they want to get drunk and they just want to get high, or they just want to have meaningless sex and just like being numb. They just want to be numb.
I've become
They want to
so
escape
numb.
reality. So yeah, like tell me what's your opinion on that, Ali, for example. Comparing them to someone who
think-
actually enjoys.
I heard a quote. I don't know what you guys think about this, but I heard a quote by this I forget what his name is. Top CEO. He was like, the problem with the newest generation is that we care too much about socialization and not enough about being by yourself. It's like most self-development happens when you are by yourself, and we're so attached to other people and being around other people all the time because we don't want to miss out. And I think that's also driven by social media, where it's like you always want to know what everyone's up to. You always want to be at every event and don't have time to be by yourself and develop and learn. What do you guys think about that?
I think the fear of missing out is so natural, man. But the fact is, we're bombarded by all these sources of just like we're always like being confronted with like other people are having good lives and you're not
Mhm.
like this. Social media compares the highlights of other people's lives with our behind the scenes, or at least we do that. We compare other people's highlight reel with our behind the scenes, and we feel bad, even though those people with the like traveling the world, partying all the time with the nice cars on social media, they're probably depressed as hell sometimes
Okay.
as well. So.
Here's a question for you, Ali, just to build on that. Like, I completely agree that a lot of self-development happens on your own, right? But in the process of self-development, right? What happens? What really happens? What is
Right.
happening when you're sitting and you're
Mhm.
reflecting? What is the process of self-development?
Nothing.
What actually happened?
Well, being focused on something that you love and being passionate about it and spending hours dedicated doing something, I think will make you better. But also, why do you have to live a life like that? Where I don't know. This is like we have a lot of people.
No,
who are
I'm talking like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm talking forget career-wise, right? Just as a person, right?
Mhm.
Ali wants to be a better person. How's he going to be a better person? What will
You
he
learn,
do?
you learn more.
When you're
Learn
by
from
yourself
mistakes,
and
yeah.
you're silent and you have still thoughts, I think that's when I mean, at least I get the most creative. I did hear a saying about like how Einstein and Steve Jobs and a bunch of these grown people, they just schedule times where they just think of nothing. They just sit there and they just lay and they just think of nothing, let their minds drift, whatever, and they sit under a tree.
Like Tariq Hassan in French class, right?
No doxing!
Stop
on the
name
show.
dropping.
You can't do it, dude. This is public, dude. This is gonna get 1 million views, dude.
He's
Yeah, dude.
he's gonna
But
watch this episode, Sharif, one day.
I-
He's gonna watch it.
The thing with social media is,
Hunt me
dude,
down.
people are like, I want to fill up my board time. Like I was saying, like I'm driving, dude. I don't want to be bored. I want to be like informed. I want to watch YouTube videos. I want to podcast and want ebooks. But sometimes I don't know. Is it better to do that?
I mean, like when people.
No, but that's sick.
Yeah.
I love that you said that. I completely agree that you said
Yeah.
you just sit there and you let your mind drift and you just kind of like you think about sometimes you think about the day, you kind of and you'll notice in the process, here's a few things that happen. You'll judge your day, you'll judge yourself, you'll judge what you did, you judge its quality, and you'll think about that, right? And when you're being creative, it's kind of like you're riffing off one idea of into the other, right? Like I write dumb stories sometimes just for my own sake, right? Because I'm like, Zen masters used to do it. Why the fuck can't I, right? I should be writing dumb stories too. So I write dumb stories sometimes. I'll go with like an idea and I'll drift off. But I'll notice sometimes when I'm sat with people, if they're willing to go through that process too, it can be even more creative. I can riff with some people even harder, bro. Some people will really push my creative limits to its max. So what I think actually needs to change, and مش بس إنه people need to sit by themselves, but also people need to have a different atmosphere when they sit and they talk together. Bro, when I go, I've been out so many times during my time at uni, just socializing with people. And bro, the amount of times where you just sat there and it feels like there's nothing happening. You get what I mean? Like you're just sat there, people are talking, but there's no actual conversation. There's no creativity.
They're just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, they're just sat there. Everyone's on their phone. People are just like smoking their shisha pipe, and that's it. That's the whole vibe.
My coworker, she's a 40-year-old woman. She's always saying like people today are autistic, man. No offense, but, like just people is always on their phones, just completely like,
Yeah, but I guess they don't accept change. Abbas, you wanted to say something earlier. If you could go ahead.
I want to say a lot of things. I got cut off. I forgot. It's fine. Go. I think I wanted to say like I had usually my time alone is like I'm trying to balance out my chores. Like for example, doing the dishes. I have a lot of self-reflectance while doing the dishes. I take a lot.
That's the word. Yeah, exactly. Self-reflection.
Mr. Miyagi,
No, I do. I do really good. My dishes are so clean, bro. They're so clean. But I sit there, I don't even notice I'm doing the dishes, and I'm just thinking and having ideas and self-reflecting, and I feel like
sent to a higher plane of existence while doing the dishes. Zen mode.
Exactly.
Bro, Bro, I'll tell you one thing, right? Like, I was just wanted to say one thing. Like, I'll sit with Abbas, right? And we'll play some dumb video game, and we'll be talking, bro. And I'll laugh so hard. Yeah, I'll laugh so hard because we're making up like dumb jokes as we go, right? And you'll do that when you sit with your friends, especially your closest friends. You'll make like some really dumb jokes, and you'll have like some of the best laughs in your. Try being funny on your own, bro. try sitting at home and like, hey, I'm gonna make myself laugh, bro. You'll go crazy before that happens. Yeah.
And what you were saying, I mean, it was very true. Like sometimes when you're with the right group of people, man, your creativity like just goes to the max. Like you were saying, I think us humans were better off working with the right people. Obviously, not doing the wrong shit like sitting at a shisha. That's not wrong, but I mean like unproductive, like sitting and just not talking and smoking shisha. But what I mean is like the right group of people. I mean sometimes that's just much better than working on your own.
No, I wanted to say
agree.
what. Amir, you're saying like it's difficult to make yourself laugh, like, but I do find those moments sometimes possible because like you think about something that you could do to, like something you did or something you want to do or a joke that just came up in your mind that you created on the spot, and then I just end up laughing by myself, and that's like sometimes I do it out loud and I'm in a public area and then it's like there's people like look at me like what? but the thing is I've really developed this bubble for myself where I really don't care about what people think about me when even if I'm in public or when I'm when I'm with people who are complete strangers to me.
You have no shame.
Yeah, basically. I mean, why should I have shame?
It's good to have full shame, but that's fine.
I mean, it's not like I'm gonna, just like run around nude in the fucking train station. That's not gonna happen. I do have, some sort of dignity and like
yes, and no train station,
and like
Yeah.
and also at the same time, we don't want to go to jail for
Public
like,
indecency.
yeah,
I think-
public indecency.
I think Gen Z doesn't have any like they don't care about anybody's opinions. They just do it, you know,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
No, they do
Especially-
actually.
Well,
They, I would actually say that they do, especially if they are trying to be within a community. You know, so like,
true.
I mean, that's why you have cancel culture and you have people who just wanna. It's like, so if you're trying to stay within a specific community, you're not gonna say anything wrong or doubt them in any way, so that you don't get shunned from that community.
That is true.
So
I have a question for you, Sag.
yeah.
Do you feel like Gen Z is lonely? Do you feel like it's a lonely generation? Do you feel like they know people? You know?
No, the thing is, it's not. It doesn't. It's not only Gen Z, man. It's like, and I'm pretty sure you guys can all agree. I mean, I'm pretty sure people before us have felt lonely. People,
Yeah.
people in many situations they can feel lonely. But the thing is, yeah, and just the projection, the very loud projection of people's emotions nowadays. You hear about these things more often. It's more common, but in reality, it always existed. It's
think
now more
people-
common because you hear about it more.
But you think it's the same level? You don't think this generation is lonelier than the others?
I don't have the statistics to say yes or no behind it.
Just
so-
by like, okay, I know. I'm not asking you for like a very specific.
Not
answer, just by
statistics.
anecdotal.
I think
example, you know?
by anecdotal, I think a lot of people don't even know their neighbors. Like kids, it's very rare for kids to run around the neighborhood the same way we used to run around the neighborhood.
Yeah, it's
I
so
think
true.
I don't know if that's a false.
Yeah, but Ali, they know, but they know
Yeah.
kids from another neighborhood in another country. So there's a different claim.
But
there.
we know it's like
for
not the
example-
It's
same
not
thing.
much of a
dude.
community though.
It's not. Yeah, it's different.
It's not the
It's
community feeling. Yeah.
Bro, look at no.
Well,
Actually, I would. But no, if you look at Discord communities, look at communities you create, friends that
Right.
you make online. I mean, I have friends now in Kuwait who are also Lebanese, but I've never met them. But I'm pretty sure if I go to Kuwait, it would be very nice to meet them and hang out with them because I
That's
already
true.
know them. Like I've already talked to them. I already know what their interests are. I've shared some stories with them. I mean, people
All right,
have.
would you guys
If anything,
think the
maybe, I mean-
quality of friendship these days are less or
Maybe there could be superficial more. Yeah.
less than like the old generation?
Not the.
Yeah, people are too
It's
scared to like be, you know. They don't want to like show too much, and they're like, oh, then I might not be, you know, included.
Yeah.
Actually, I just want
They
to
don't-
answer.
Heck,
I mean,
yes.
your
I
question.
don't know.
I didn't answer. Yeah, I just want to answer your. Supporting you basically, so
Right.
it's possibly less lonely, maybe.
Hmm.
As for the quality,
I can speak on quality, right?
Quality is a tough question.
Yeah, I think it's less lonely in this generation. Like you could easily go on the internet, make some friends, but I do think that the quality is also not that much less, but like
Not the
diminished
quality
a
of
bit.
our friendship because we're still here doing this.
no.
The
Yeah.
time is wrapped. We gotta go. We gotta wrap up on the Wise Guys. We're gonna tune in for next
Cool.
week if you want more. Yeah, this is a short and sweet Wise Guys. We'll see you next week. All right. Are you guys
Make
pro
sure you
internet?
guys
Are you
follow,
anti-internet? Leave it in
subscribe.
the comments. Let us know. Subscribe. What do you think?
Interact with us. Let's hear your comments.
Interact with us. That's a good
Please.
yes one. All right.
Also, if you
Goodbye.